get you mixed up with Snodgrass. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'd like to read 4 poems of Gene and then 3 poems of dead poets that are no longer with us that were friends of Gene. Bob Kaufman, Harold Norris, and Jack Mitchell. If we have time.
You got time. We're good.
Okay.
You got time.
So this one, first 2 I published in Second Coming in the 70s. First one's Night Visit. Something flew into my eye just now as I walked into the fields. The star bones protrude overhead through the night. It is caught under my eyelid like a tiny wheel, burying itself deeper until the movement stops. I'll take it with me as the waters form around it. It is dying upon an eyeball. What a strange enemy and grave I must be to this thing that has flown into me, trading its sight for mine. Beneath us the last crowds gazing upward begin to disperse as the night dies. The wings move back from their balcony. And this one I also did as a postcard. Why most of us are limping away from life. The cavity in the right side of the chest can only be filled by the pressing of another human heart against it. This is why the right side of the chest is made empty of love. Why there is always one tear made of sweat wanting to fly down the other side of the skin into it. And so we limp, dragging the weight of the cavity in the right side of the chest behind us, leaving no trail or mark for our young. And this one particularly hit home with me. I spent some time in the Department of Education and Civil Rights. And this is the stairs in Little Rock, Arkansas, 1957. 40 years ago today, 9 children were climbing the longest stairs of hate they would ever see to enter Little Rock Central High School. The tall white crowd around them shouting, "Give us one of the nigger kids to hang." Their faces lunging forward through the heat, and we'll let the others go. They were 6 girls and 3 boys. The white dress of the first girl clung to her with spit. She was wiping it from her face without tears. The new books were torn from their hands and ripped apart. The screaming went on, rising before them. The stars above them kept flowing toward their bodies. Through the heat, light was breaking like glass on the steps. Another light broke around them. They were climbing over hate with a courage we had never seen. They were leaving Eisenhower's paratroopers across the street in the shade, and Brown versus Board of Education with Thurgood Marshall in Topeka, Kansas behind them. And they were the first 9 witnesses, turning the terror in their back to us. And Gene, thank you. Gene, as you know, was an anti-war activist, and this was to the world's first people after this war. After this massacre, we will drop the smallest body bags ever made. They will be made of black rubber with zippers like those we filled in Vietnam. They will be 1 to 4 feet long for the last mothers alive in Baghdad. They will drift down as thousands of black leaves after our missiles have burned through water and skin. We will drop them before the world can see the remains. These last mothers alive in Baghdad will carry from our craters of sand in their broken arms the rest of our lives. Do you still see that young Vietnamese girl running naked from Hanoi, screaming with horror, her back on fire with napalm, her sisters running toward her from Baghdad? Yes, we have seen to the future of Iraq. The smallest body bags ever made, if rolled up tight enough, can even fit inside the womb. We cannot remove our government of wide graves by ourselves. We will need your help to pull us back from the desert of quicksand. Beneath their great fleet of knives on fire to heal, we will need your help. With the impeachment and the trial of war crimes, with the prison to be built with light and light. We will need your help to lift these ears of blood from us after Iraq. This is what we have grown for you. This is what the empire eats. September 2003. Well, it looks like I don't have the coffin. It's a shame, but okay. Remembering Harold Norris. Neely and I visit the ancient warrior praised by William Carlos Williams and other literary giants. 90 years old, early stages of dementia setting in, playing hide and seek inside his solitary room. Now an old man trapped in death's shadow, he reads us a poem from his collected works, his voice still loud and clear like Sunday church bells. He puts down the book, becoming frail and vulnerable again, this rock of ages with peaked hat walking slowly with us to the cafe across the street, complaining about the loud music as Neely orders him a cup of coffee. Make mine black, he says, then asked me why I didn't put milk in it. This forgotten warrior walking back to the care facility, Neely shielding him with his umbrella to ward off the cold rain. That's my hotel, the Beat Hotel, he says. Hotel Nirvana racing inside his blood. He stops, says, I can't go on, out of breath, as if the next step might be his last. He is like a bird, his eyes nesting in my soul, feeding on poetry, the sum total of his life. I'll close with a short one. Close with a short one for Jack Mitchell, who was a dear friend of mine and a lot of people in the room. Several of you knew him. Pete, I know you did. Jack, Sharon, I could go on all night. Poem for Jack Mitchell. He was a high note of a wailing saxophone, the spark that ignites a fire. He was a fifth of Jack Daniels, a glass of imported beer, a shaman, a vagabond poet shuffling words like a riverboat gambler. Ravaged by illness, ravaged by time, he painted his visions on canvas in parks, in bars, and coffee houses. His poems singing out across the streets of America. Pure innocence, pure genius, spinning words that hung in the air like a hummingbird drunk on the pollen of life. Thank you.